Hey everyone, welcome. Dominic here with Smart Catholics Mastermind and glad to be joined by John Wood. John, welcome. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
John is the author of 3 books. One is a bestseller, and he's the president of the nonprofit Extraordinary Mission. We're going to get into all of that in just a second. Mastermind is a live series to meet the minds and hearts of creators, leaders, and Catholic hosts. They devote their time and talent to mastering their vocation so that you can live a fuller life faster. John, I'd like to start with a story. That's usually how we begin these. Let's take us to a moment in your life where something spurred a change and you realized, I have to do something or be someone different.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up Catholic and, always kind of, knew my faith and everything, but I didn't really go all in until I got challenged to kind of share my faith a little bit more in college. And then I lost my father to cancer shortly after that. And I'd been doing some ministries in my parish, but that really helped me kind of dive deeper into those important questions of life. Who are we, why we're here, where we're going, how do we get there, and the urgency of becoming the saints God created us to be, and that striving for heaven when you lose somebody you love like that. And so that was really kind of a turning point. I had done a little bit of speaking up until that point, but I was really on fire to kind of share my story and share the love for my Catholic faith after losing my father to cancer. So I think that was a pivotal point in my life.
Gotcha. Well, I'm sorry to hear. And can you share with us, like, what kind of a guy was he and how did he influence you?
Yeah, so my dad, he wasn't a deeply religious guy. My mom was really great at sharing her faith and living her faith. My dad was a convert to Catholicism, and I always just saw him as being more faithful to my mom than he was to the church. He did everything, went to mass every week, but it wasn't until after he died where I realized, that he really revealed to me who God was as father because of the way he loved his sons. I have 3 brothers, and he just
Wow.
always wanted to be where we were at.
Yeah.
He loved watching us play sports. He just wanted to be with his sons, and I realized I think it took losing my father on earth before I realized I had a father in heaven, and God the Father is the same way. He just wants to be with his children. So he really introduced me to God the Father and the way he lived his life.
Wow. That's powerful. So tell us what you're now doing. So you started a nonprofit, Extraordinary Mission, and then you've got Saints in the Making University, I think, and then you've got a Dragon Slayers project. So walk us through what it is that you're now doing and how you're answering that call.
Yeah, so I'm a pretty introverted guy. I never really sought to be a speaker to begin with, or even write books. But I, kind of got challenged to do some of those things in my own parish. And Matthew Kelly was a big influence on me through the dynamic Catholic stuff that he does and his speaking. And I invited him to come speak in the area, and I was kind of the event coordinator. And through all the little talks I'd done at my own parish, I had an opportunity to meet him and give him some of those things I'd been writing, this book, Ordinary Lives, Extraordinary Mission. And he took it and published it as part of the book program. And it's distributed about 250,000 copies, which has just opened
Wow.
up all kind of opportunities for me to travel across the country, share my faith, and speak over the last 10 years. And through all of that, I realized my target audience is young parents. I'm a young dad myself. I
Mm-hmm.
got 5 kids. And I realized the importance of passing on the faith to our kids. I think that young parents are key to the new evangelization, but I was frustrated of not really having access to them. And so my wife taught second grade sacramental prep and realized that, even disengaged parents want their kids to receive First Communion, and they bring them in at that time when it's not too late to pass on the faith. And so we created this new retreat program called Dragon Slayers. That is a sacramental retreat for second grade, but it's for parents and kids. It's put on by parents and kids, for parents and kids. And it's a really great opportunity to reach those parents, to inspire them, to uplift them, and give them the resources they need to be the primary educators and share the faith with their kids. So we're excited about this new initiative.
Fantastic. And it's nested under your university. Is that right? Can
Yeah,
you tell us
so
about that?
yeah, the Saints in the Making University is something that I have my third book is called The Light Entrusted to You from Ignatius Press. And it's really, I kind of broke down the faith in different categories of helping, lay people learn and fall in love with their faith. And so part of Dragon Slayers is our follow-up, where we walk the parents and kids and families through our Saints in the Making University. It's a 25-week where we send them, new ideas each week that they can try. And that webpage, saintsinthemaking.com, is really just a whole bunch of resources that have helped me. And when I find a great resource, I'll put it up on that website and, share it with other parents and other families. And that's really what that Saints in the Making is all about.
Fantastic. So, okay, it's a 25-week program, and then every week it's a different sort of prompt. And what does that prompt do? Is it something to reflect on, or to go out and act on,
Yeah.
or write about, or?
Yeah, so there's different parts to that challenge. We want to reach the whole family. So in each week they get an email, and there's a Deep Roots video for the parents with just one simple thing to try. The first 4 or 5 weeks we focus on creating a great Catholic atmosphere, like art and music and prayer space and those kind of things. And then the second part of the challenge we focus on spending time as a family. That our faith is family oriented, and family meals and how to spend time and learn the faith together. And then we talk about the third part of the challenge, continuous learning, and that's where I really share a lot of resources and how to make your car your classroom, or just different tips like that. And then the fourth part, we talk about great sacramentals and angels and saints and their rosary, and just powerful devotions that can really shield and protect and uplift families. And so that's the kind of the 25 weeks. The parents get one simple idea each week. The kids get a Dragon Slayers challenge. The teenagers get a challenge of their own based on one of my other books. And then we also share a men's challenge, Into the Breach, for the men, to try to help them as well. So that's
That is
kind of
awesome.
what that is. And then after that, all those resources on that web page, they can continue to look through and find things that work for them.
Nice. How many students have you had go through the university?
Well, so we just started the Dragon Slayers retreat. We trialed it in 4 parishes a couple years ago, and then last year we trialed it up to 12, and now this year we have about 30 parishes scheduled to do our live retreat, which is access to over 1,000 families. And then we also just are releasing a virtual-based retreat that any family in the entire country can do right now, that you can do in the privacy of your own home. And so once you do the retreat, the Saints in the Making University 25-week challenge just automatically starts, that week, and then you get that email once a week. So, there's been hundreds through. I'm not exactly sure, but this year there's scheduled to be over 1,000 families go through it.
That's incredible. That's incredible. How okay, so those are part of your larger mission, and tell us about that.
Well, the overall mission of my whole ministry is to become saints. It's part of the universal call to holiness. And again, Matthew Kelly talks about becoming the best version of yourself, and the same concept. Mm-hmm. I've traveled the country, and that ordinary, in our ordinary life, our call is the extraordinary mission to become saints, become the saints God created us to be. I've handed out probably 50,000 of these wristbands that say, "Become a saint, be not afraid." We want that mission on people's minds, so they begin to strive for heaven, to strive to be, the particular saint God's calling them to be in their unique vocation in life. No matter what your vocation is, as far as your job and family, we're all called to be saints. And that's the primary message that I want to give to everybody I speak to.
Brilliant. So I'm assuming your book, Ordinary Lives, Extraordinary Mission, 5 Steps to Winning the War Within, is that kind of like a synthesis of everything that's on your heart that you're now working into all these different programs? Can you tell us about that book?
Yeah, so that book, again, Peter Kreeft and Matthew Kelly and all the different influences in my life kind of helped me kind of formulate. I created that book by doing talks to my own parish and writing down notes. And I wasn't trying to write a book, but I came up with these 5 steps of that, knowing we're in a war, that we have concupiscence, that we all have to struggle and make good choices to become the saints we were created to be. So we have to understand that. Number 2, we have to know there's enemies, there's obstacles. The church tells us about the world, the devil, the flesh. There's real obstacles out there, and we have to identify those obstacles. And then step 3 is freeing ourselves, which, obviously we can't free ourselves. We need God's grace, but we have to take the steps to fight against those dragons that we struggle with, to be free of those addictions, of the things holding us back. And then step 4 is having a shield, which is really my love for Catholicism. Catholicism gives us this holy highway analogy I use. Everything we need to become saints is in this church, and all the grace and the sacraments we need. And then step 5 is having a sword, is about evangelization. We have to fight back. We can't keep the faith to ourselves. We fight back with the swords of virtue, faith, hope, love, justice, courage, temperance, wisdom. We need to be able to share our faith. It has to be contagious, and that's how we fight back. We fight back and create a culture of life, and help people strive for that extraordinary mission.
Yeah, yeah. I love the use of the word contagious. That's a good
Yeah.
one. And your Dragon Slayers program was a finalist in the 2021 our Sunday Visitor Challenge. I love the sense of, especially for like the younger ages, and heck, even for some older ones, that sort of veneer of like fun or drama that is put over our faith, and that they're not usually put together, but it is such an incredibly dramatic thing to be Catholic, to be Christian, to be called to live. Can you share how does the Dragon Slayer program work, and what are the ages that it's for?
Yeah, it's we gear the retreat, the virtual retreat. We tell for families in grades with it, if they have kids in grades K through 4. We also have a sanctified retreat for teenagers if you have teenagers, but the Dragon Slayers is kind of geared for that age group. Revolves around the sacraments of reconciliation and First Communion, where dragons are their sins, their temptations, their distractions, their obstacles, any obstacle to becoming a saint. And we it's like an examination of conscience. You got to name your dragon, and it's just as powerful for kids or adults as it is for kids, and the parents love it as well. I mean, if you look like at organizations like Alcoholics Anonymous, very successful 12 steps.
Mm-hmm.
Step number 1 is you got to identify, I have a problem and I'm powerless to overcome this by myself. And so we help the kids and the parents identify their particular dragons, and then teach them that we have the greatest power in the universe to slay those dragons, which is sacramental grace, especially the Eucharist, the source and summit of our faith. And we, 71% of Catholics don't believe in the real presence. And we see this as a golden opportunity to help them fall in love with that source and summit, that Jesus is truly present in the Eucharist and gives us all the grace and all the power we need through all of these sacraments. And that's how the Dragon Slayer theme comes out. And you're right, it's an adventure. We want to do, other things like high adventure, archery leagues for parents and kids, and fishing and camping, and think of how you can share the faith using bows and arrows and fire and fishing, especially young dads who are so hard to reach. They'll come to events like that, and there's so many analogies and fun ways you can teach virtue using those kind of Dragon Slayer themes.
That's brilliant. Where are you based, John?
I'm in Ohio, Northwest Ohio, in the Toledo Diocese.
Okay. And for something like that, what you're just talking about, would you intend to host them locally to you, or you travel around perhaps and try hosting them in different areas?
Yeah, so we didn't win the OSV Innovation Challenge. That would have been really cool. We made it to the final 12. The top 3 got the grant, but part of our pitch to the investors was we have a 3-step model in evangelization: inspire, desire, fire. Parents have to be inspired first, and that's what our retreat is designed to do. And then maybe they have a desire to learn more, and that's what our Saints in the Making University does to follow up. Now they're open to try resources and try new things. But the 3rd step is fire, and that's what I was just describing. The best way to share the faith is for families to spend time together, we believe, and giving them opportunities to do that. So our big picture dream was to be able to create Dragon Slayer camps, all over the country. We're still at that stage of initiating that here, but that's something that can be easily spread anywhere. We can teach people how to create a Dragon Slayers facility, how to use those themes to teach virtue, and how to have father-son camps, mother-daughter camps, family camps, just different ways to get families together and spend time together. So our hope is to make it national, and the virtual retreat is already ready for anybody in the country that they can go through that step. Yeah.
That's awesome. How can people get in touch with you, John? How can they sign up for this sort of thing?
Yeah, so if you go to saintsinthemaking.com, that's where you'll find the Dragon Slayers tab. There's a tab under Dragon Slayers called resources. So it's just saintsinthemaking.com/resources. And you'll see a link to the virtual retreats that anybody can try right now, and a whole bunch of free resources, downloadable, Dragon Slayer examination of conscience and the Dragon Slayer manual, all that kind of stuff. And you can email me, john@extraordinarymission.com, anytime. If you have questions for me as well. So that's just john@extraordinarymission.com.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to drop the link in the the show notes below the video, so people can check that out as well. Man, wrapping up here, John, if you had 1 minute to share the message from your heart to the world, what would you say to Catholics everywhere?
I think it's time for Catholics to stand up, raise up, and rediscover our story, rediscover who we are as Catholics, as sons and daughters of the Father, and that we're here on a journey, that life is a journey, and you're going somewhere, and the final destination is heaven. And I want people to thirst for heaven more than the trophy or more than the job, promotion, or more than the car. We got to start thirsting for heaven. And I truly believe our Catholic faith is the best coach and the best way of helping us get to that final destination. And I'm going to challenge everybody out there to, that your ordinary life, you were created for an extraordinary mission, and go be the saints that God created you to be, and be not afraid, as John Paul II said.
That's awesome. I think it's a perfect place to wrap it up right there. So this has been an episode of Smart Catholics Mastermind. If you enjoyed it, please share it with your one friend that you think would like to see it, and then come and regroup with us in the free Catholic community on smartcatholics.com. We're free of trolls and ads and toxicity. We're faithful to the Holy Father, Pope Francis, and the Church. We are committed to a culture of kindness and learning. Sound like you? Well, come and join us. Thanks again, John. God bless everyone.